And alrighty, thank you guys so much for joining me for another episode of the Let's Talk About It podcast. If you notice, I am wearing the same shirt as last week. I'm doing these back to back because if I don't do it now, then I won't do it later. Uh, this time around, I've got another U of M. Oh my God, not U of M. I work
I
there.
you him.
USM
That's right.
undergrad friend, and I think the first person from my actual studio, saxophone studio, Emmanuel Carney, one of the most busybody people that I remember in undergrad, and he's still a busybody, but I'll let him introduce himself and talk more about that.
Yeah. Well, hey everybody. My name is Emmanuel Carney. I met, like I said, I met Aaron at Southern Miss during my time at undergrad. We're in the saxophone studio. I'm in my third year of teaching at Long Beach Middle School in Long Beach, Mississippi, where I am the director of choirs and an assistant band director. So I get to kind of, I do both things that I really enjoy. And I'm super excited that Aaron has asked me to come and speak and hope I give some good tidbits and information for anybody.
Yeah. And that's and part of the reason why I wanted to ask you is because, like I said, you're doing both things, and I think that's
Yeah.
pretty unique. But I've definitely heard of people doing it. But so I know, like in undergrad, you were also navigating getting licensure in both choral education and instrumental teaching. And so, I guess, can you just take me through like what made you want to do both? Because sometimes, normally, when I hear from people, is that they just kind of end up doing both because it's the need.
Right. Well, yeah, I was intentional about wanting to do both. That was definitely my choice. So it kind of started going back when I was in high school. I actually started off in band in sixth grade. My middle school didn't have a choir, so I actually did not start choir until I was a sophomore in high school. My choir director kept bugging me to do it, and so I joined it. And I really, really enjoyed the experience. So when I was a senior and it came time, I knew I wanted to do music, um, but I was really having a hard time like deciding, did I want to do choral music ed or instrumental music ed? And in my mind, I know it is different for some people, but in my mind, music is music. It's just different instruments. One was saxophone, the other was voice. But at the end of the day, music is music. And so I really did not want to choose both. Or choose one or the other. I wanted to do both. And so I did a lot of research on schools that would allow me to double major because some won't let you. Like you have to choose either instrumental or choral. But that narrowed down my search when I was looking for colleges. And I found USM. I actually stumbled there first because I saw that our saxophone professor, Dr. Guads, was there, and I really wanted to study with him. And then through that research, I ended up finding that they had a very good core program, Southern Chorale. I know I'm biased, but one of the best core programs in this region. And so it just worked out. And I was reassured when I went and toured one day that I would be able to major in both. And so that's just kind of how it worked out. And so double majored in both. And then it's so funny because I was always told you'll never be able to double major in both. I ended up doing that. Then I was told you'll never find a job where you get to teach both. And then I am teaching both. So my
Yeah.
path really just I've been very blessed to that the Lord has worked it out for me to be able to do both. And it's really been great. I really enjoy both. It's a lot of work, it really is, but I enjoy getting to teach my band kids and my choir kids.
So take me through your schedule of the day. Like what ensembles in between both of those do you do?
Yeah, so choir is my main gig. Like that's like my main responsibility. I'm the main director for that, and I'm just an assistant band director. So the way that it starts off is in the mornings, I have two periods of sixth grade choir that I teach with the high school director. We co-teach that. Then I come back. I have a 30-minute planning period, which is nothing, and then I teach beginning band at the middle school. So then I teach my beginning band class, third period. I have my men's choir, fourth period, and then I have two sets of women's choir, fifth and sixth period. And then during the fall, after school, I work with the marching band at the high school. So I get to dabble in the high school band during the fall, and then I teach beginning band year round here at the middle school. So that's mainly what my schedule looks like.
That's a lot. You're that's all I can really say. Like I
Don't have
said,
a
I
lot.
do remember you being involved in a lot in undergrad anyway, so
Yeah,
like this is
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
just par for the course. And I mean you killed it then, and I'm sure you're doing really great now. So
Oh,
that's It's a lot, but it's definitely something that I feel like you are handling probably very well. And so, but you mentioned, so you mentioned that, of course, despite, finding the program, that, you were told, oh, you won't be able to handle both, and then, oh, you won't be able to find both, a place that does teaches both. So, I say all that to say is that, obviously there was just certain things that might not have, um, that might have been like glazed over, or you feel like that. Is there anything that you feel like, um, you weren't properly set up for and prepared because people were just going to assume that you were going to end up doing one or the other?
Mm, ma- I maybe I really wouldn't say. So I mean, I took both instrumental and choral classes during undergrad. I did mainly stick with the instrumental side just because it ended up working out because a lot of the instrumental classes I took were able to just transfer over to the kind of the choral degree, so I didn't need to take some of those choral classes. So I took mainly a majority of my class for my instrumental side just because I enjoyed the professor, Dr. Cosby. I'm sure you remember her, phenomenal music educator and music education professor. And so I really wanted to learn a great deal from her. But taking those classes though, I still prepared me for the choral classroom. Like I don't think there was really in terms of curriculum. I mean there were definitely things that I was not prepared to teach, like to, especially teaching at the middle school level. At the middle school level, you are teaching how to. When you teach high school, most of the time they already know how to do the fundamentals, the basics of music. They don't know how to do that in middle school, so you have to like teach how to kids who have absolutely no knowledge about music. So there are some concepts that I think were definitely glazed over that I had to learn just by doing and by failing and figuring out what works with those kids, and also having mentors around me to kind of help me lead through those things. But for majority, I really would say that the classes that I took prepared me. But teaching is one of those things where it really don't matter what school of music you go to, you are just not gonna know how to teach until you get in the classroom and teach. It's one of those professions that like you just gotta be able to do it to learn because it's just and the things that we do in college it's just not reality with the real world and with the kids that we have and the communities that you're in. Um, Southern Miss definitely prepared me, but at the end of the day, you learn by doing, and so you have to get in the
Mhm.
classroom to teach to learn how to teach.
Yeah, I think that's been a pretty consecutive theme,
Yeah.
going on. Is that, like, even like Miriam, she had mentioned that, like, like she faked it until she made it for the
Yeah.
most part on certain things, and
Yeah.
it's like I think there are definitely things. I've talked to like people outside of the college that we, went to, and like some friends from grad school reflecting on their undergrad experiences at their other places, and, I think the general consensus is like after you've had like a couple years removed, is that you can look back and be like, okay, truly, like no college can prepare you for
Yeah.
every little thing. There is no program that is going to be able to do that. And so, despite how you might feel as you graduate, I think a lot of the times recent graduates have like not everyone, but sometimes I know at least for me there was like a little bit of bitterness. I mean, like I don't feel like I'm prepared at all. They didn't teach
Yeah.
me anything, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you just can't, especially in like a post-COVID world.
Yeah.
It is a different game, and if you haven't even taught like right before there, like there's only so much that like music educators can teach you and prepare you for, especially
Yeah.
with the just changing demographic of students. I mean, I work in higher ed and I see that even at that higher level of just
Yeah.
like the
For
students that
sure.
we've had in the past versus now. It's they're not less serious, but they're just different.
Yeah, they're built different. They are built different.
Different. Yes. Okay, nice. So, you're originally from the Tennessee area.
Yeah.
So did you have family in Mississippi at all, or are you kind of just down on the coast, kind of just doing it?
Yeah. I mean, I have friends now, but
Mhm.
I have my Hattiesburg, colleagues and friends that I still talk to every now and then. But when I moved to the coast, I knew one family, just because we went to school together, in undergrad, and so I knew her family. They were from down here, so I had friends from the Long Beach area, but. they weren't living here anymore. So
Mm,
I had to make friends and I had to get to know people. And I'm so grateful now that I really do have a community of people who kind of take care of me, are my family down here because my real family is 6 hours away. So I don't get to see them often, which sucks. But I have a kind of a community of people that look after me and kind of have taken me in as their own. So I'm super grateful for that. But that transition is definitely hard, being so far away,
yes.
especially like, in undergrad, those people were like they were my family, all my friends, like that we hung out with, and they were always. And so it's a very hard transition when you're with them for 4 years, and then just literally one day, May 12th, whenever I graduated, it's gone like that, and like
Yes.
you don't have them anymore like that. I will tell you the hardest thing for me in teaching thus far, and nobody talks about this, and I was so like I didn't know how to navigate it, like because you just never heard of it, and it may not be for everybody. Maybe it was just me. I don't know, because I
Hmm.
just had such a great undergrad experience. Nobody talks about the transition from undergrad to like your first job and like or whatever you do like and just leaving everything behind. Like it was really hard for me because my community was in Hattiesburg. I was in Long Beach. All my friends. I was like I was like mourning college, like because like I miss my people, I miss my experiences. I was in your first year, you're definitely like you're surviving, not thriving. So like you're fighting for your
Yeah.
life every day, and you're like, did I like what the crap am I doing? Did I even make the right decision? I'm not happy. I miss my people, so that transition it was very very hard for me, and there were many times where like I was just very upset that like here I am teaching and I didn't want to be here. I miss my people. I want to go back to college where my friends are and do that instead because I was not having a good time at all.
No, and I'm so glad. Like I've been wanting to talk about this, but we end up like going on tangents, and then it's an hour, and I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
hold people up. But this is something I really want to talk about because I'm in the similar. I was in a similar boat when I went off
Yeah.
to
You went
grad
for
school. Like I went from Hattiesburg. Well, even in there, like it was. I graduated 2021, so COVID,
yeah.
and student taught during COVID as well, and so by the time graduation rolled around, I hadn't seen most of the people that I hung out with in
Yeah.
person in months. And then when we finally did, we took a picture together, and everyone was like, "Okay, deuces." And I'm like,
Yeah.
nobody wants to go hang out or do. Nope, everyone just kind of
Yeah.
dispersed. And there's still some people that I'm still I still check in with, and like I definitely root for on the side from that. But it's just kind of how it is. You just go off, and especially right around that time because everyone was like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I gotta go get my vaccine, and I gotta go do this, that, and the third. And so and then on top of that, moving now at the time 14 hours
Yeah.
away from family, and now I'm 15 and a half. I just, I love my family. I do. I promise. I don't. Just because I keep moving from one family doesn't mean
I know.
I don't.
I'm a 7 hour from mine, so I understand.
Yeah. So like, but, and then I had, even then I had I was still in school, so I still found people because it was easy. But then, because we had classes and stuff like that, we were all in the same college. And then I moved to Michigan, where I'm currently at, and just that transition of college to just being out on your own in an area you don't really know anyone in. A lot of my friends from even from grad school dispersed. I do have one that's in Columbus right now, but she's that's a 3 hour drive. So
Yeah.
like that's not a weekend thing. So
Right.
like it's it's a really tough transition because there's just so many new things going on all at the
Yeah.
same time, and you don't have like that stability. Like it's
Yeah.
hard to
It
find.
was very hard
And
for me. And even
yes.
now, even year three, like it's still it's not as hard as it was my first year, but it's still difficult. Like like when you see your people, like thriving and doing their thing, it's like and again, like I'm grateful because I do have a community down here, but it just it's difficult and I did not know how to navigate it. I'm still learning how to navigate it even now. So yeah, it's hard and that was the toughest thing for me. It really was.
What are some of the things that you've done to kind of like now kind of found your people?
Really, I've been trying to be more intentional about not putting so much into my work. I'm a very, and you know this too. I'm a hard worker. And I want
Absolutely.
the things that I do, I want to do it well, and I want my program to be successful. And so I put in a lot of work. But with that, tend to put my personal life on the back burner, and so I spend a lot of time in work. And it has its benefits, but also, it has its consequences. And um, I struggled a long time to find my community. So a lot of my community is from my colleagues. I'm very grateful that the school I work at, everybody pretty much likes each other, and we really are one good, we're happy family. We call ourselves the best cult ever because it's like we're like a cult of just like really cool, like weird, quirky people. But I met a lot of friends through work, and two of my
Hmm.
greatest friends came working with them. One of them doesn't teach anymore, and then the high school director I work with, she has become literally like my mother, and so we spend a great deal of time together, and she really is like my second mom. And so we spend a great deal together. So like, I have those people in my life that care for me and that I spend a great deal with. So that portion kind of came naturally, but I really am trying to be intentional about this year about like leaving work and like going out and meeting new people. And the thing about teaching is, especially teaching middle school, when 3:30 hits, you're exhausted because you have to be on from 7:30 to 3:30 all day, every day. And me, like I get 30-minute planning period. That's the only time I have away from kids. The rest of the
Hmm.
time I'm with kids all day. And that's if I don't have a rehearsal after school or I don't have a gig or something I have to get to. So like by the time you leave work, you're just exhausted. I don't feel like going out. I want to go home and sit in silence for 25 minutes. And so I'm too tired to go out and meet new people, but then I get sick of, like not getting to go out and experience new things and experience new people. So I've been trying to be more intentional about just getting out and going and doing things, even if it's by myself, being comfortable with being by myself. I live by myself.
Yeah.
I've been trying to do a better job of that, like you don't have to have people around you to go and have a good time, which has also been a hard thing, but it's something I'm trying to learn and grow in, is that it's okay. Like I can do things by myself and enjoy just being with me. So it's hard, but I'm glad I do have those people around me to help.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you're doing all that too. That's something that I'm also trying to do more often. I used to be the person that would like be able to go like a restaurant or something like that and sit by themselves, and then
Yeah,
I had 6 years of college where I could just call someone or text someone and be like, "Do you want to go down to this
that's what I'm
restaurant?"
saying.
And then it's like,
Yeah,
"Okay, I'm gonna walk to your house, and then we'll drive over." So like,
yeah,
I'm like, "Okay, cool, nice." But now I'm like, "Okay, well, especially the area that I live in, most of my friends, I live on the outskirts of Detroit and in the suburbs, so like most of them are like closer towards the actual city and are like 30 minutes away. I have some other friends in the other suburbs, but either way, it takes between their schedules and then also the driving distance and where we're gonna meet, if it's halfway or not. It's just too much. And sometimes I'm just like, I just want my little French dip from the
yeah.
restaurant on the road, so I'm just gonna go by myself. And it doesn't travel well, so I'm like, I'm just gonna sit in this restaurant and have a nice time by myself.
I'll
And
go you by
it's
myself. I don't
so
care.
nice. I forgot how
Yeah,
nice it was.
yes. I'll pop in my AirPods. Nobody talk to me. Leave me alone, and let me buy my.
Exactly.
I love.
I order all of my stuff at the same time for the waitress. It's like, do you need anything? It's like I'll just get a refill and the check, and then you do not check on me
You
again.
ain't gonna worry about me. You didn't even worry
You
about
don't
me.
have to worry about it. You
I'm
did
glad.
great. I promise you, you did. I was supposed to be in
Tip.
house. It was okay. Uh,
Yeah.
but yes, do you are you doing like any ensembles or like you going anywhere on top of that as well or?
I mean, no, I'm just so busy that I don't have time. I've tried, but my schedule just doesn't allow. There's a coast choir that's kind of starting up down here that I don't have time for. I was going to do it, but there's also the Coastal Winds. It's like a community band of basically a bunch of directors. It's becoming audition based. I've been trying to get into that because it's kind of like who you know. I think that'd be a really good experience, but I think it is smart. I sing with the church down here every now and then, so that's fun to kind of have in that community, but my schedule really just doesn't allow me to perform as much as I would like to. I miss performing. This summer, I'm super excited because this summer, I'm getting to go to Europe with Southern Chorale. The Dr. Fuller invited some
Nice.
alum back to go and travel this summer, so I'm going to Europe this
Wow.
summer to sing with them. We'll be singing some of the stuff I sang when I was in undergrad, and there will be some new things. So I'm excited about that. That's gonna be really fun to get to perform again with them and with some of my old friends. So I'm looking forward to that. But I definitely encourage like any young teacher to like, if like there's like a music ensemble, do it, because I miss performing so bad. I do. I don't have time to practice anymore. So I mean, I was looking at videos of me playing my saxophone literally last night. I don't know what prompted me to do that, but I was listening to videos of me playing. I was like, my technique was so fire. Let me tell you something. I can't pick that saxophone up now and do it. My technique can be all over the place. If I could work it back up, but I'd have to like sit down and practice. And like I just don't have time to practice anymore. I just don't.
That is super fair. I feel that a lot. I look back and I'm like, especially when I switched over to tenor my junior year, I was like, I
Yeah.
really loved my tone on that. And then I do play in a community band now.
Oh,
Through
fun. That's good.
Yes, it's a great ensemble. It's sponsored by the Detroit Symphony Orchestra, so like we rehearse in the orchestra hall space as well, and then we have three concerts per year. So it's been super super fun, and it's it's just been so nice to like pick it back up in like a non-stressful, like
Yeah.
not that like band in college was stressful, but like at the end of the like
So there's pressure
I'm
to it.
playing.
And then you have juries and you have concerts and
Yes.
all the things. Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. So like, and like, I'm playing this year. Last year I did tenor sax, and it was nice. There was only one concert we played. Uh, we played "Give Us This Day." And
Yeah. I'm working on it.
that tenor part, I said,
Oh no, that's yeah.
Maslanka.
Yeah, Maslanka.
Yeah. So I was like that tenor part in the second movement or the faster movement. I don't remember how many movements there were. I was like, oh, I had to practice this. And there were some missed notes in
Yeah.
there, and it's fine. It's fine. I did the best that I could. And then this year I'm playing clarinet just as a secondary, just to get better at it. And
Yeah.
so that has been fun. But we have also played some very not easy things.
Yeah.
Like we're doing the second and third movement of um you remember NASA 2023? They did the performance, Alan Tyson's Archaic Machines.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have somebody coming in and doing the second and third movement for the
Awesome.
Barry Concerto, and I'm playing clarinet for it. And it's not horribly hard, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm not used to my little fingers doing this. So yeah, it's just like I also highly recommend it, like for educators or just anybody still in
Yeah,
the music space, like join a community
for
band,
sure.
especially if
Yeah,
they like
I agree.
intentionally program things. Like it has been fun, and I have played some stuff that I never got the chance to
That's
in
great.
undergrad. So like yeah, it's been super fun.
Yeah.
And I hope for you that you're able to maybe clear some time schedule to get back into it because
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you're still phenomenal now, but you were really, really good at undergrad. So
Yeah.
like I'm sure once you get a chance to pick it up, it'll come right back.
Yeah. I,
But I also know how much you miss playing. So
I do.
um but I'm so excited for you for Corral. That sounds very
Yeah.
fun, the Europe
It's a
trip.
fun time.
Yeah. So I think that yeah, I already covered about playing and just kind of relationship with music. So it's also nice that the want to play is still there for you, I think, too. I think a lot of the times it kind of goes to the wayside for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think what happens a lot of times is like, it's especially in college, it really is that I feel like college is literally like the making or breaking point of like, do I want to do music? Because it's such work. I mean, it's so much hard work to get a music degree, and it's so easy to get burnt out on on music. I mean, it really, I'm surprised. Looking back now, I'm like, I don't know how I didn't because I practiced I think I practiced 3 hours a day every day when I was an undergrad. I mean, I because I really was intentional about wanting to get better. Because I did realize I knew that whenever I started teaching, that I wasn't going to have time to practice as much. So I really wanted those 4 years to be like the 4 years where like I'll lock in and really get good at my instrument. That way, when I do start teaching, I'm not like still trying to get better and improve. I mean, obviously, you're always going to try to get better, but those 4 years really changed me as a musician. And so whenever wait, where was I going with that?
I think like your relationship with music and like you
Oh, yeah,
still
yeah, yeah, yeah.
love
A lot of people
playing and
get,
want to
yeah,
play.
a lot of people get burnt out, and I'm really lucky. There were times I almost did, and I was like, I'm ready to wrap this up. But I'm very grateful that overall, that I didn't, and so whenever I got out, and also I had such a really good experience in the ensembles I was in, at undergrad. Being in chorale, I absolutely love that. I was in wind ensemble, and I absolutely love that. And so it just really created a yearning, and I love performing. Like that's what we want to do. Like that's what we first, that's how we first came in contact with music, is playing our instruments and performing. And so I definitely do. I miss that, and I think I would enjoy it so much more with it not being on such a high pressure level, because I'm not having to worry about getting all these things right and juries and all the things we have to do just to get to play and to enjoy it. So
Yeah.
I definitely do, and I hope something opens up in my schedule to where I get to perform. I've actually thought about starting like a chamber ensemble down here on the coast because I miss conducting like
Oh,
upper ensembles as well. I teach a beginning band, you really don't get to conduct a lot. It's a lot of like make the right noises. So
yes.
I don't really get to conduct as much as I want to anymore. So I thought about starting like a chamber ensemble and conducting them down here. So that's something I might look into as well.
Okay. If you need a new piece to
Yeah.
play, let me
I
know.
was
I know we've also talked about a commission for a choir piece, and I
I forgot
we're
all
doing
about
better now, so I
I
have
forgot.
more on the plate.
They're actually I commissioned a piece for them this year from I don't know if you know Hudson
Yay.
Marlin or not, but he got there after you left, but he's a composer friend of mine. He's writing us a piece and we're gonna perform it this spring, do world premiere. So
Fun.
that'll be fun.
Okay,
Yeah.
I love that. Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's also important too, is to try to get newer things for younger students. I got
Absolutely.
a chance to work with my grad school friend last May, and he teaches high school, and I think it was a smaller school in Texas, I think, and the kids didn't really get a chance to do stuff like that, so he
Yeah.
wanted to give them new opportunities.
Yeah.
So
It's a
that's
great
so
experience.
fun. I'm excited. I hope it's being able to record it so I can hear it. I'm
Oh
excited to
yeah, it
hear
will
it.
be. Yeah.
Nice. All right, so we've actually touched on a lot of things in a short amount of time. So I kind of wanted to go back to what you're currently doing, like work-wise, and um, kind of because again, your situation is kind of unique where you do both. So, are there any things of like, do you ever have times when you feel like you're too stretched thin between doing both of them, and like maybe you're not doing enough for one or the other in a sense
Yeah.
to say?
Yeah, absolutely. As much as I do, it's very easy to feel like I'm not doing enough. I think for me that comes with because and I struggled with this my first couple of years because choir is my main gig. I felt myself putting a lot more energy and time into the choir portion, and it kind of left my band stuff on the back burner. And I didn't like that. My band kids sounded fine; they were doing great, but I realized that mentally they were not at the forefront with the choir kids, and I didn't like that. So that's something that I've really been intentional about in like making sure that my band kids are getting the same attention and energy and time as my choir kids. And it's been such a great year and a game changer with them. Like I said, all of my band kids have done really well and they've sounded good since I've been here. But this group this year, um, you can tell that they understand more. I'm getting through more curriculum with them just because I'm being very intentional about making sure that they understand it and that they are on the same level, I guess, as my choir kids, if
Hmm.
that's right. But even with like high school marching band, so with high school marching band, it's a little bit different because I only work with them after school, so I don't go during the day. So I only really see them 2 or 3 times a week. I go to after school rehearsal. We only have after school rehearsals on Tuesdays. So I see them at after school rehearsals on Tuesdays. I'll see them at football games and comps. I'll see them during band camp, obviously. And my main kind of thing with them is I do the drum majors. Obviously I'm a drum major tech so I do all their routine stuff. And so it's kind of the same thing. I feel like that maybe sometimes I put them on the back burner because I'm so swamped in the choir stuff. But I've been really, again, really intentional about just making sure that all of my students are on the same level in terms of getting my same energy, time, and effort equally amongst all the things. And so this year has been a much better year in that sense. In that I think I've been doing a good job at that, and I've seen the difference in their sound and just in their community. So that's been fun to see, but it definitely is very easy to feel stretched on both ends. And there's been times again where like I've thought about like maybe I should need to pick one, maybe I should need to do band, maybe I should need to do choir, but then the situation, it just the decision is so hard because I love both equally so much. I really, really do. I love choral music. I love instrumental music, and it's so hard to imagine me not being in either one. I hate that we had the stigma of we have to choose. I don't like that because in my mind, music is music. They're both beautiful art forms, and so I hate that in the music society you kind of had this thing where you have to choose and like we're divided, and I don't like that. So. I'm grateful I get to do both, but it is a lot of work, and I do feel very pulled in different directions at times. But I don't think that I would change it really for anything.
I love that. Yeah, I feel like there's a little bit of a thing just because like our in the profession there's an expectation to be a specialist in your craft.
Yeah,
So that's why it's like an either an or type of thing. And then also even like in a college setting, like they don't want I've just found out, and every professor thinks their class is the most important class, and so therefore
sure.
they don't want to ever really compromise on kind of getting things or letting things count for one another, things like that. And to their credit, some of them are like really important, but I think sometimes, especially being on the staff side of higher ed, I think sometimes the way students are advised, I'm more of an admissions person, not an advisor, but sometimes the way students are advised is that they think that they don't want to have them either be burnt out or spend a bunch of time in college taking all these classes for something that they think in the past, because of based off past experiences, that students will end up choosing one or the other. But it's so tough because like you don't want to make that assumption, because there are people who are not only talented at both like you are, but also really dedicated and do and are able to make it work within their school district. So like
Yeah,
I think having more of a resource for students like how you were, and like having a better alumni, a sense of your alumni and what they're doing, and maybe
yeah,
having people and resources that are, oh yeah, I know this one person who's actually doing both. Let me put you in contact and see if
yeah.
this aligns to where you are. I do that a lot for my students who are
Cool.
interested in dual degrees between two different professions.
Yeah,
So I think that's sometimes a service that can be kind of missed in higher ed, for just the assumption of, oh, it won't work anyway.
yeah,
But I mean, it sounds like you've got a good balance going between things, and like reminding yourself, of course, this is like my main thing, but that doesn't mean that my band students need to
yeah,
feel like they're the side,
yeah,
or the weaker of the two. So like I love that, and I'm glad you're able to find more balance. I feel like that also is a lot more probably comforting for you too as
yeah,
well,
for
in
sure.
terms of schedules. But I do have to ask though, like how long are you planning on doing that? Are you thinking like full career doing both like that?
I don't know. Um, you
That's
know,
fine.
I so it's so funny because originally the plan was I was never going to teach. I didn't want to teach at all. Didn't want
Really?
nobody, I don't want to be messing with these kids. Nobody's bald headed kids.
Really?
No, I was trying to get this. The only reason I got a music education degree was as a backup, and because I want to be, long term looking years down the road. I really do. I want to be a conductor. That's what I want to do. That's what I've always wanted to do since I was.
Oh,
And so music education was just my backup because I was going to go right to grad school, get my conducting degrees, and go conduct. But education was just my backup, and then I had all these mentors tell me like I really think you need to teach, like get the teaching experience and then go back to grad school. You'll be more, you'll have the experience and people will want you because you have that. So I was a sucker and I fell for it and now I really do like teaching. It's kind of crazy how it ended up working out. But I want to be a conductor. So I will eventually, I know I will. I won't be teaching for 30 years in public education. I just won't. I want to go back to grad school. I want to get my master's and my doctorate and I want to conduct. And so but then again it comes that question of okay, do I do choral conducting or do I do wind band conducting? Because you
yeah.
choose. And so I know I'm gonna have to make a hard decision when it comes time for grad school. Because I don't know what to do. I really, really don't know. I love both so much. And again, it's very hard for me to not see myself doing both. So I know it's gonna be a very tough decision, but So lot of words to say. I eventually probably will not be doing both. I'll have to make a decision when it comes time for grad school. But I don't think I can make a wrong choice because I love both so much. I think I'll be fine either way, but I think I definitely do see myself more as a wind band conductor just because I think maybe I don't know if I just had more experience conducting wind band. I love the grandeur and the boldness of wind band conducting, I guess. Whereas
Hmm.
on the opposite, I love the intimacy and the softness of choral conducting. So it's hard to make a decision between the two, but I don't know. I dread making that decision one day. But I am looking forward to grad school, though. I really am. I love school and I love learning, so I'm looking forward to going to get my conducting degrees. I just don't know what if it's going to be choral conducting or instrumental conducting.
That's fair. Well, hopefully you can at least find a program that like with a similar thought process of your undergrad where like obviously you'll have to choose to get whatever one you want for an
Yeah.
official degree, but hopefully they'll let you take, maybe a core if you do go with the wind band conducting, like maybe they'll let you take a couple of choral conducting
Yeah.
courses. I just feel like for marketability as well, and like trying
Yeah,
for people to
exactly.
get jobs, that's you should take one of everyone, at least orchestral, wind
Yeah,
band, and choral, just so
that's
have
cool.
for job marketability as well. But yeah, that is a tough decision that I don't envy you in. But I'm now that I'm thinking about it, the I don't know how I didn't know that you were like really really into conducting. I don't know how I didn't know because you took private lessons with Dr. Higa, right? I know a couple people
Yeah.
did. So yeah, I remember that. For those of you listening, Dr. Higa is he still the one of the directors at
Yeah, he's the associate
USM?
director now.
Oh yeah, he's an associate director at U of M. And so oh my God, I keep saying U of M,
Not
USM.
Ole Miss.
Uh,
Bro.
no, no, I'm thinking of University of Michigan where I work because I'm so used to saying that. Oh, that's even worse. People are gonna think that I'm thinking of Ole Miss. Oh no.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking was Ole Miss. I'm
Oh,
like, Ole Miss,
oh, that's
please,
even
no.
worse. They're
Don't
gonna be like,
confuse
"Where'd you go to
that.
school at?" Like,
Uh-uh. Don't play no games.
um, no, but do you have like any advice for maybe somebody who's going the similar route of kind of wanting to do both in undergrad and maybe in the profession as well?
I would say a couple of things. Yeah, like I would say first, like straight there are going to be people who are stupid and weird and are going to say like you can't do both. And like if you ever get that experience of like because it was so weird. I had multiple people tell me that. I don't know why it was like such a bother that I was getting 2 degrees, but people were like, yeah, you're not gonna be able to do that. You're gonna have to choose. And that motivated me to do it even more. Like I don't know why people were like that. So if you have those people in your ear, tell them to leave you alone, go ruin somebody else's life, and you go get your degrees and you go thrive. Like you like that, don't let that stuff get you down. You find a place that will let you do that and you do it. You can do it. I'm like living proof that you can do it. Now it is hard work and you got to put in the work, but it's absolutely possible. And I would say like if there's somebody who's interested in doing both, make sure it's really what you want to do and make sure that you dedicate time to both practices. Because again, it can get very tiresome and troublesome, and very easy to just put your focus on like one thing. Um, but if you want to get good at both, choir and band or voice and whatever your instrument is, you got to put in the time for both. So it takes up a lot more time, but to me, it's worth it, obviously. But some people may not, want to do that. But being dedicated and being organized and making sure that you're getting all the things done and you're putting the focus on both things equally so that you can, be the best musician in both areas because I mean, it really does make you marketable. I mean, it really does. I actually just got a phone call from another school district on the coast, wanting me to come and interview and teach at their district because they knew that I did both band and choir and that
Mm.
I had that experience in both and then I do well in both. So I mean it makes you marketable and when people see that and see that you do it well, people are gonna want you. So it's worth it. We have experience doing both and that makes you a lot more marketable, but you just gotta make sure that you're willing to put in the work and be dedicated and be organized and doing it and that you can do it. It doesn't matter what anybody says, you get those degrees and you do your thing.
Nice. Okay. I love that. And I think the last thing that I kind of have on this is, um, were there any like mentors during this that you kind of leaned on, either during undergrad or like that you're still leaning on right now in your profession? That kind of came up with Miriam about having a mentor,
Yeah,
even after you graduate, and
so
just
important.
yeah, yeah.
So important. Yeah, I really do. I talk a lot to a lot of our professors from USM still, like Dr. Cosby. She has been such a big help to me. Dr. Kiga, who I talked to, I just saw him actually, was it yesterday? Thursday. I talked to him. Dr. Fuller, the director of core activity at USM, I lean on him a lot. Those are just my Heidelberg people that I talk to a lot. But then just here in Long Beach, I'd say my biggest mentor is the high school director that I work with. I lean on her a lot and get a lot. She's a 30-year veteran teacher, master teacher, and so I get, I rely on her opinion and her experience a lot. But then just within my building, I think my counselor, my principal, I'm in such a blessed, like lucky situation to where like fine arts is very supported here. And so my counselor and my principal are very much like very supportive of me and give me lots of advice on how I need to do things and within the school and what decisions to make and all that good stuff. So I'm so lucky that I've built a community of like people who know more than me. And that's the thing about teaching. Like you can't leave teaching and think that you know everything or be ashamed to like admit that you don't know everything. That just wasn't me. Like I knew from day one. When day one hit of teaching, I was like, oh, I don't know what's going on. And I quickly had to rely on the people who have that experience, who've been teaching for 10, 15, 20 years, to get, wisdom and expertise from those people. So I'm so glad I have so many around me who are able to continue to be able to help me and give me advice on what I should do within teaching and my plans down the road whenever I leave teaching. So I have a great community of that, and it's so very important to have those mentors. I'm telling you, that first year of teaching, you don't know what's going on. You are fighting for your life every day, and if you don't have somebody there to like talk you through things or tell you how to do something, like it's going to be even harder than what it already is. If it was, I can imagine if my first year of teaching was already as hard as it was with having those people there to help me, I couldn't imagine what it would be like to not have mentors around me helping me and guiding me. Like I don't, and I think that's why a lot of people leave teaching. Like if you know, like a lot of people leave teaching after first year. And I've met a lot of educators I went to school with that if they make it to the first year, they're gone after like the third or fourth year, like because they're just so burnt out on it because they don't have the people around them to help them through it, or they just are teaching in a crappy district or whatever the case is. So having those people is so vital. It's very, very important to succeed and to do well for your career, like professionally, but also like mentally and emotionally and on a personal level, like having those people to listen to you vent when your kids are being stupid or you can't figure out a problem, like it's just so very important.
That's a good point too. I don't think I've quite thought of before as a reason why people leave with after like their first year, their third year, something like that. It's just really not having that type of
Yeah.
support. Like I think a lot of the times people often harp on, oh, my school district's resources don't have this, we don't have the money, so it makes things harder. But it's not just like money aspect and funding and stuff like that. It's also just having a director friend or another person
Yeah.
within your district or someone that to kind of just lean on. And I don't work in public schools, of course, so I don't know if there's a if there generally like across the board if there's a culture of older teachers helping younger teachers throughout most school districts. But I think there is from what I've kind of gathered from friends.
Yeah.
They A lot of people have found somebody to kind of lean on, and if not, even if in the school district, then like how you mentioned, like a couple of just professors that are,
Yeah.
you know, a phone call away. I think
Yeah.
having that support and that type of stuff to lean on um, is is probably a big reason why people just don't have the feel like they can make it.
Yeah.
Because and I think another thing too is that like if for anything else, it's just someone there to remind you that like of course you feel like you're doing a bad job. Nobody knows what they're doing their first year.
Yeah.
So
It's
I
so important you have that encouragement because they're even now in my third year of teaching, like there are many days, and this year has been, I don't know, strangely enough, year three has been very hard for me. I don't know why, but it really has been very hard for me. And like there have been days where like I don't, you get that feeling as an educator where you just feel like you're not making a difference. You don't feel like the kids are like really like growing or understanding from what you're doing, and it becomes very, very discouraging. And so having somebody there to like encourage you who can see from an outside point of view can really see the difference that you're making, and then reminding you of that and showing you that it's such an encouragement, and it really like helps you to keep moving forward. Like, because I'm telling you, like I did not want to continue teaching in my first year. Like I really was
Mm.
contemplating making the decision of leaving. And I've never been in a place like that before. Like people usually say like stuff is hard, and I'm like, it's probably not hard, it just requires some hard work. And people don't like to work hard. No, teaching's for real hard. It is hard. Especially teaching middle school. Like it is hard on a different level. And so I really was. I was not about to come back my second year, but I became really good friends with the cheer coach, and just like her encouraging me and like helping me to see that, I am making a difference. And my second year was so much better. Just teachers have to get through that first year. It's that first year, and it's like your first year anywhere. You just gotta get through that first year. If you can get through that first year, you are set. You are good to go. But it can become very discouraging at time, and I understand that's why people leave. Like, and I don't blame them. We get paid peanuts, have to deal with these bad kids, and then have admin screaming and yelling at us. I understand, but the perks, the benefits of teaching your children and getting to know them and seeing them grow, it outweighs all that to me, in my opinion. So
That's fair. It's the 5 days in person that makes me never want to go back because I'm hybrid right now and I'm like I
yeah,
actually could I
and
actually
5 days,
cannot.
sometimes on the weekends.
No, yeah, no. No. I'm also notoriously not a morning person either. Someone should have asked
That
me a long time ago why I decided I wanted to be a teacher because I was never going to be the first person to
was the
listen.
first red flag.
But that was the first red flag. But it has even just having the title of it has helped. And sometimes people have been like, "Oh, you have an education degree. You're qualified to do this, that, and the third." I'm like,
Yeah,
"Okay,
yeah, sure.
okay." Like, and half the time they're not wrong. I mean, it's like, oh, like
Yeah,
okay, now that I think about it, sure. But like, I don't know. I definitely don't regret not. I don't regret not going through and being a teacher, but I also don't regret not getting the degree in general because it has
yeah,
helped in some doors
yeah,
and well.
sure.
So yeah. Well, I think that's pretty much it. Like all the questions that I had. So I have a couple of things I like to end up on a positive note. Although this has probably been one of the more positive interviews that I've done. So,
Oh, I'm
um,
glad. Oh,
but
that makes me feel good because I do find it too a lot, especially in this day and age in society where like people, when it comes to teaching, everybody's talking about the negatives of teaching. We don't get paid, and all these things are accurate. We don't get paid enough. We have
Mhm.
to deal with these people's crazy kids, and these parents are also crazy. You have to deal with them too. In most situations, not in mine, you have admin who's not supportive. So there are the negative things, but we focus so much on that stuff that I feel like it takes away from the great thing about teaching, which is the kids. And like I have such great, amazing students, and especially at middle school, like getting to watch them grow. And like this year, because it's my third year, this is going to be the first class of kids that I've been with all 3 years. So like my eighth graders now, I started with them when they were sixth grade.
Oh.
So this has been a really special year, and like I've literally watched them grow up for 3 years, and they're about to leave me. And I'm gonna be a hot mess when they leave because I'm like not gonna see them back. So, but like, there are so many positives to teaching, and I do wish that we as educators focus on those things a little bit more. Because it's not all bad. It is hard. Teaching is hard, but it's so worthwhile. I mean, it really is. And just like the 3 years of like teaching, having notes from kids that talking about like how much I've changed their life, or how they were so shy and timid when they first joined choir or band, and now like they have the confidence and they have the strength to get up in front of a group of people and perform or speak. Like it, like to know that like you were a part of that, like that is special. And there's not any other profession in the world that you can feel that. It's education, it's teaching that brings you that. So there are so many great positives. So it makes me feel good that this was not a negative interview, it was a positive interview. Can you hear that?
No, I couldn't. Your
Thank God.
face.
Yeah.
No, and
So
it's. I think that's. I mean, I like this balance of like bringing out like because I feel like there's also a societal standpoint where people are like, why would you even want to go into teaching
Yeah,
nowadays? So like just discouraging younger people who want to be educators that we do need to support them so that way
yeah,
when they do get done and they go into a job, they're not going to somewhere that's paying them like 30K and they live in New York or something like that.
yeah.
But like, it's always made me a little uncomfortable seeing online and stuff like that. It's like, why would anyone want to be a teacher these days and blah blah blah. It's like, okay, we still need
Yeah.
them. Like we have not evolved past that. So like, let's not discourage people too badly. Let's just be more realistic about certain things.
Yeah.
And so I think having the good and the bad, I think this is like a good one for inspiring people to continue and keep going. And
Sure.
then other interviews I've had is like this is what to expect, and it's like it's not to deter you, it's just to remind you that like
Reality.
okay, because pretty much the general consensus for most of these is that everyone that first year, whether they started subbing or they went straight into it or they went somewhere else and they did like general stuff and then they came back to music, that first year is a struggle.
It's gonna
So
take.
that's
It's
kind
gonna
of
take.
why. Exactly. And like that's kind of why I'm like, okay, if anything, if people even listen to one episode of the podcast, I think that that's something to take away is that everyone struggles that first year.
Yeah,
So like it's
for sure.
okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a couple of like things to kind of wrap up on. So first one, what are three things that you're proud of that you've accomplished?
Three things that I've accomplished. Well, okay, I guess I got a few. So a personal one.
Yes.
This is my third year, like I said. This past November. Every year, we have like every other state, you have your, state music educator association or whatever. So here it's MMEA, the Mississippi Music Education Association, and that pairs with our ACDA conference, which is the American Choral Directors Association. Every year they give out different awards to just different educators for different things. And so this year, in 2025, this past November, I was awarded the 2025 Young Music Educator Award for the state of Mississippi. So that was a great surprise and a great encouragement that that I got to win and experience and get to experience for my kids as well because they are really the true recipients of that award for having to deal with my crazy behind. So that was a great accomplishment for me that made me proud, for sure. Another thing was so this while I've been here, I've been kind of rebuilding the program to the way that I want it and just to COVID happened, and this kind of happened before COVID, but the program just felt very dormant for a few years before I got here, and there just wasn't really anything going on. And so it was my goal to really like revitalize and bring some energy and some life to the program. And so I think I've done that. My kids we travel now, we compete a lot more. My numbers have grown since I got here. So watching my program evolve, and I think the best thing from that is watching my kids become like a real family. We spend a lot of time together, and so seeing that community being built and seeing those friendships and watching them laugh and have a good right before I got on here with you today was our spring choir retreat. So they come in on a Saturday. We work on some of our evaluation music that we're getting ready for, and then we go to the gym. We play some games, some community building things, and then we come back and eat lunch. And so getting to spend the Saturday with them and watching them have fun and like laugh and smile, it's a really great thing to watch and grow just from my first year until now. But I was getting to we traveled for the first time in like almost 10 years. This past year I took my kids to Atlanta and we went to a national competition and we won. And so that's like the
Ooh.
first national championship that this program has ever won. So I was very, very proud of them and super proud of the hard work they put in. So that's one thing I'm proud of. And I guess the third thing would be pulling back from that second example is just like watching my kids grow up. Like that's and watching them become good people and to know that I had a part in that. Like I'm a little selfish. I take part, I steal that. I'm like, yeah, like I did that. Like that was because of me.
As
Like
you
they are
should.
good friends and they are good musicians and they are good friends because I helped teach them to do that. And so I take pride in that. Like there's no arrogance in that. That's just like I'm proud of what we do as educators. We help them to become better human beings. It's not about the curriculum that we teach or the music that we're teaching or the musical skills. It's about making them good humans. And I think that's one of the things I had to learn how to I had to change in my mind from college to real world teaching. In music school, they're beating in us. How do you teach music? You teach music this way. This is how you do this concept. This is how you teach this skill. This is how you teach theory. This is how you teach cyber, yada, yada, yada. And but at the end of the day, the reality is when you get in the real world, that you're not teaching music. You're teaching kids. And we've got to get that through our brain because it changes your entire mindset for how you go about being an educator. Like, I don't teach music. I teach students. I teach students how to do music, but I teach students first. And so when you change your mindset, I think it changes the culture and the community that you have. So seeing that grow and build from my first year to now, that's success to me. It really is. Like my kids leave my program wanting to go to high school choir. They want the experience. They want that community, and that's because I built a culture here where they could experience where they are safe and loved and heard. And I take great pride in that. And I'm very proud that I have done that and that they've allowed me to do that. So I'd say that those are probably the top three things that I'm most proud of for sure.
Okay. And see, at first you sounded like you were going to struggle with finding three things, but those are beautiful, beautiful
I, I
examples.
I've had a great 3 years. It has been hard as all get out, and I have worked like a dog, but it has been a great 3 years. Like I hear a lot of educators their first few years of teaching and how much they hated it and it was miserable and I don't have that story. It was hard. There are days where I don't like it. There are days where I'm like, okay, I should just went back to grad school. I should have done something else. But 90% of the time, I enjoy what I do and I love it. So I'm proud of what I've done and what I'm going to continue to do while I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So uh two more. So what's something in the near future that you're looking forward to?
In terms of like teaching or what?
Anything. It could be anything.
Well, I mean, a lot of things. I'm taking my kids on a trip next year, next school year. So I'm starting to plan that. So I'll be looking forward to that. I definitely look forward to the day where either I step up into like a high school position or I go back to grad school. I love middle school and I never thought I would love middle school. I got I never wanted to teach, like I said, but if I was going to teach, I was going to teach high school. Well, I didn't get the high school. I applied for the high school and middle school job. Well, I got the middle school job. And I love middle school. I'm so glad I'm teaching middle school. I think that the best educators are or have been middle school educators. And I think that everybody should teach middle school, at least for a year, to see the struggle and to see like how difficult it is. Because middle school directors, we get put on the back burner because we're not going, and winning state championships and going to compete in this and that and the other. And so all the focus tends to be on the high school programs. Well, the middle school directors are the ones doing the work. Like we're the ones building those foundations for the high school
Mhm.
directors to be able to go and do those things. But with that being said, I do look forward to maybe doing a high school position one day or just higher, level students. Because, obviously you can do difficult stuff with your middle schoolers, but you can't go and do a grade 5 piece of literature with a middle school band or a middle school choir, You have to pick
Mhm.
within parameters and you can find stuff that's challenging. But I definitely look forward to picking more challenging music, just because that'll fulfill some of my like musical sensibilities, but also just the challenge and the because I love a good challenge. And so getting to do that with older kids, I'm looking forward to being able to do that one day for sure.
Nice. Wait, and then the last one, because you've already normally I do like a any advice, but we already kind of did that anyway.
Yeah.
So the last one, are there any plugs you'd like to put out there? So like any websites or like if you have social media for your band and choir that you guys like to send out to people or something like that, and I can add in the description or something.
Sure. Yeah, I can send it to you too. So we have a Facebook and Instagram page. The Long Beach Middle School Choirs is the name of both Facebook and Instagram. We have a website too that's on the it's either the Facebook or the Instagram page. You can click on a link and it's our website that we have, um, and things like that. But you can feel free to follow and kind of see the things that we're doing. I post on there regularly, so you kind of see all the great things that we're doing in Long Beach and just how great and awesome that my students are and how hard they work every day. So yeah, Long Beach Middle School Choirs. It's Facebook and Instagram. We also have a Long Beach Middle School bands page that they can follow, and you can see some of my beginning band kids do their thing when they're performing and getting ready for concerts and stuff like that too. So I'd love if people would follow and tag along and see the great things that we're doing down here.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Manny, for joining me for this. It was a
Yeah.
very
Thank you
nice, it
for
was a
inviting
very
me.
refreshing conversation. Of course. And thank y'all for listening again to another episode about Let's Talk About It. Looking forward to next week. Thank you so much. Y'all have a great day.